Hello, I'm John Janarone, Editor-in-Chief of IPO Edge. Very happy to be here at the New York Stock Exchange with Mohit Daswani, who is CFO of ThoughtSpot. Mohit, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, John. Thanks for having me.
So, Mohit, since we have the man himself here in the flesh, can you tell us about your background and what led you up to your role at ThoughtSpot?
Yeah, so great to be with you today. I'm the CFO at ThoughtSpot. I've been at the company now for about 4 years. Been an operator in tech for about a decade now. Was at PayPal for quite some time and then Square before coming over to ThoughtSpot. And the commonality among those companies is each of them obviously disruptive in their space, but ultimately taking a technology and making it very easy and intuitive to use for their end customer. If you think about Square, very easy payment experience for merchants, for coffee shops, et cetera. Similarly, ThoughtSpot looks to make analytics and just getting access to information very easy for anybody working at a company. So it was one of the things that drew me to ThoughtSpot 4 years ago.
So AI has become quite a buzzword, as we both know, particularly in the last year since ChatGPT came out. Tell us about how you guys use AI and what it means to your company.
Yeah, so I'll start with our mission. Our mission from when we started the company and consistent today is to build a more fact-driven world. So what does that mean? Companies have invested a ton in their data infrastructure, putting data into Snowflake or Databricks or AWS. But there's still a friction between the data that's available and people being able to get access to that easily when they need it, right? In time for a meeting or a business review.
Yeah.
So we set about to solve that problem. And so there's a lot of talk about AI today. We've been using AI and machine learning since our founding to create an experience like Google, but for enterprise data. So instead of having to know how to write SQL or Python or other things, we allow you to ask a very simple question using natural language and to get that answer from your enterprise data. So that unlocks the ability for really anyone at a company to now get the power of decision-making, data-driven decision-making, create that more fact-driven world that we talk about. With AI today, the wave we're in is generative AI. And so generative AI allows you to take what we've built in the background, which is you ask your question, we do all the work in the background to get the answer. You can now loop in a large language model capability and make it true natural language search, right? So I'm going to prepare for business reviews. I'd like to know what are my best-selling products in the Western United States.
Yeah.
You ask that, we will deliver that to you,
Wow.
give it to you by store, give it to you by SKU, et cetera, in a way that's very intuitive. So we're excited about AI being able to continue to unlock the potential in our business.
That's really fascinating. Now tell me, I'm curious, Mohit, does a company need to be of a certain scale to partner with you where they've got robust data sets and all that's there? Or so I guess I'm wondering, are you working with huge companies or can smaller guys also partner with you?
Yeah. So we work with companies across all sizes, from a startup that's just getting going on business intelligence for the first time,
Yeah.
all the way up to the largest companies in the world.
Yeah.
15% of the Fortune 100 are customers.
Wow.
10% of the Fortune 500 are customers. Household names like CVS, Wells Fargo, DoorDash. So we work with companies of massive scale. We're also going to work with startups who want to leverage the power of data-driven decision-making in their business. The main thing is they have their data in the cloud. And so whether it's a Google BigQuery, AWS, as I mentioned, Snowflake, Databricks, once your data is in the cloud, it's very easy to utilize, and that's the kind of customer base that we work with.
Well, a really impressive business model, but I want to talk about some milestones from last year. You hit some really important milestone marks last year. Can you tell us about a couple of those?
Yeah, so our business is now multifaceted. We're building for the long term. And so if you think about milestones, we completed an acquisition of a company called Mode. And so we work in this business intelligence sector, but we now have 3 entry points for companies to work with ThoughtSpot. One is that traditional ThoughtSpot experience, that Google-like experience for enterprise data. What Mode gives us is actually entree into the more technical user, someone who says, you know what, I actually do want to get into the data. I want to roll up my sleeves. I want to be able to ask Python or notebook queries. It gives us access to that market. And then the final one is an embedded business called ThoughtSpot Everywhere. So customers are utilizing data for their own businesses. They want to unlock the power of data for their customers. So we give them a business, a solution that allows us to embed our solution in their offering. So in terms of milestones, that embedded business is growing 100% a year. Our SaaS business, which we launched about 3 years ago, also was growing 100% a year, crossed over 1,000 customers and 150 million of ARR scale. So very pleased with the growth in the business.
All right, and finally, let's talk about the future a bit. What lies ahead for ThoughtSpot as a business? And I have to ask, since we're here at the New York Stock Exchange, the IPO Summit, is an IPO in the cards at some point?
Yeah, so this is one of the largest segments in software. It's over $50 billion. There have been usually several public companies from this space that are listed. There aren't today. And so we definitely see that opportunity. The investments I described, multi-product, multi-segment, clearly are setting us up for long-term durable growth. So we do see an IPO along the journey for us. We'll continue to obviously to watch the market. We'll do it when the time is right for us and we're ready. But this is a segment that gives rise to opportunities to build a multi-billion revenue business. So we do expect at some point crossing over to the public realm will be part of that journey.
All right. Well, I hope so. Well, Mohit, this has been terrific. Thanks so much for joining us here. This has been Mohit Daswani, who is the CFO of ThoughtSpot. I'm John Janarone signing off from the New York Stock Exchange.